Hi there, I'm Gwen Hernandez, author of Scrivener for Dummies and founder of scrivenerclasses.com. This is a quick introduction to how to choose the right template when you're creating a new project in Scrivener. So when you open Scrivener, you should see the Project Templates window, but if you don't, you can go to File, New Project. This is the Project Templates window. This is on a Mac. It should look very similar on Windows. Along the left-hand side, they have categories of templates. So a template is just sort of a basic setup of a project for you to start working from. And what they've done is given you several to choose from that include settings and files and folders and things like that that they think might be useful to you. So on this first tab, the Getting Started tab, this is where you can access the interactive tutorial, the Scrivener user manual, and video tutorials. And these are also all available under the Help menu. If you click All, you will see a list of all of the templates that come with Scrivener and any that you've created yourself, which is something you can do. The blank category just has the one blank template, and we'll come back to that. And then in fiction, I have a couple of my own in here, but you'll see novel, novel with parts, short story. Those should be the only ones that you have if you haven't created any of your own. One of the key confusions or points of confusion that I run into with people is whether to choose novel or novel with parts. And so even if you're writing your novel in parts like 3-act structure or 4 parts, whatever, you may not want to use the parts template, okay? So all it means with parts is that they've set it up to include a part folder in addition to a chapter folder. And then they've created compile settings that also assume that you're using part folders. So if you are not going to actually include like part dividers in your book at the end, you don't necessarily need this one, okay? The novel template is set up to include a chapter folder and a scene document, or one or more scene documents for each chapter. Okay, so again, the compile settings are set up as if that's how you have your project done. Keep in mind that you can do all of this on your own. So you don't necessarily need to choose their templates, okay? But I just want you to understand what they mean. Short story, it's just optimized for short stories. So I'm going to show you what some of these look like in a minute, but just to give a broad overview for now. Nonfiction, they have things set up for general, essay using Chicago style, APA, and so on. And again, it's there's not a lot of extra stuff they can do. It's just that they have certain things set up for you that are intended to support this. Script writing has various script styles as well. And then miscellaneous, there's a persuasive lecture, poem, layout, and even a recipe collection setup. So most of my clients are fiction authors. So I'm going to show you the novel template just so you can get a feel for what that looks like. So I'm going to click novel and choose create. So I'm just going to choose desktop, and I'm going to call mine delete me because hello. I don't want to keep this one. Okay. So what they've done is given you at the very top of your binder, that's this section on the left-hand side, a guide to everything that they've set up in this template for you. So in terms of Scrivener settings, how to make some changes to that kind of thing. If you choose to use this template and you don't care about this information or you're done with it, you can totally delete this document, that's fine. Then you'll see under the manuscript folder, sometimes called draft, this template gives you a chapter folder and a scene document. So that's just to get you started so that you can click on scene, click in the editor there, and start writing. So they're just kind of showing you an example of what they want the layout to look like, or what they think it should look like for this type of project. All of the rest of these folders, except for research and trash, are just additional folders that they thought you would find useful. And they have created them for you. You can always create them yourself. They've also included templates. So there's a character template and a settings template. And those are set up as the default so that if you create a new document within this characters folder, you will get a blank template document. And the same thing with places, it uses the settings sketch document template. Okay, so then within research, they've given you a folder that has sample output of what your document or your project could look like if you compile it using their settings. So again, these are just examples. You can delete that sample output folder if you don't want it. What I have found for most of my clients, they also include front matter here, which is useful. Again, something you can create yourself. What I find with most of my clients is that all of this stuff is really overwhelming. And so honestly, my recommendation these days is to just choose the blank template. So we'll do another one. I don't know why I have such a hard time with delete. This is what the blank template looks like. Much simpler, much less overwhelming in my opinion. And then you only have to add new things as you need them. So if you decide I want a place to put character information, then you can add a folder and start adding documents about your characters or images, things like that. People are very reluctant to delete something that's in there because they think it's important or it's going to break something. It won't. But if you really want to just start simple, I highly recommend the blank template. You can't go wrong with it. You can always add things that you need later. You can even, let's see, this is going to be backwards. You can even drag between projects. So you could, if you wanted this template sheet, you could just drag it over here. And then you could even take these character and places folders and bring them over as well. So, you know, there's ways to add things if you're not sure how to do it. But personally, I would just start with blank, and I'm going to delete these. And then it's so simple to get started. You just click on the untitled document and start writing. And generally not all in caps. And if you want to give it a new name, you double click here, first scene. And when you're ready, click the green plus button, next scene, start typing. Okay, so that's my recommendation, is generally speaking, is the blank template. But also hopefully that clears up the confusion between novel and novel with parts. Back to the first one we created. If this had been the novel with parts, there just would have been an additional folder here. And I can show you what that would look like this. So it just adds an extra level, and then the compile settings are set up accordingly. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.